Ladies and gentlemen, every day we wake up to face challenges, some small, some overwhelming. We encounter people who doubt us, situations that frustrate us, and moments that tempt us to give up. But the truth is, I'm fascinated. Our greatest battle doesn't happen in the world around us. It happens inside us. The real war is not fought in the workplace, in our relationships, or in the economy. It is fought in the mind. Your mindset is the real battlefield. Fascinated. Every person faces battles every single day, but the truth is that the toughest and most defining one happens within the mind. The battle within is silent yet powerful, invisible yet shaping everything you do. Fascinated. It determines your attitude, your confidence, your courage, and ultimately your destiny. When people say success begins from within, they are speaking of this very truth, that your mindset, your beliefs, I'm fascinated, and your thoughts create the foundation for everything you will ever achieve or lose. The real battlefield is not out there in the world, not in competition, not in struggle with others, but inside your own thoughts, where fear, doubt, and determination collide. The human mind is extraordinary. It can create dreams, inspire innovation, and give strength even in the darkest moments. Yet the same mind can also destroy hope, magnify fear, fascinated, and convince you that you are powerless. The difference lies not in the circumstances, but in the direction of your thinking. A person who masters their thoughts masters their life. When your mind believes you can, your body follows. Fascinated. When your mind believes you are defeated, nothing you do will change that outcome. That is why every great achievement starts with a shift in mindset. Before a leader inspires nations, before an athlete breaks a record, fascinated, before a student achieves greatness, there is always one victory that happens first, the victory within. The battle inside is constant because the mind is always active. It questions your worth, challenges your confidence, fascinated, and tempts you to give up. In moments of hardship, the voice of doubt grows louder. It tells you that you are not capable, not ready, or not worthy of success. I'm fascinated, but that is where true warriors are made, not by running from that voice, but by confronting it. The real strength is the ability to answer those doubts with faith, to replace fear with courage. I'm fascinated, and to rise even when your mind is screaming that you can't. Winning within means training your thoughts to work for you instead of against you. It's a process of learning to control your emotions, silence negativity, fascinated, and choose belief even when evidence says otherwise. Every person who has ever achieved something remarkable has fought this battle. They faced failures, criticism, and moments of deep insecurity. I'm fascinated. What made them different was not their resources or talent, but their mental resilience. They understood that the war within must be won before the war outside can even begin. Fascinated. This requires self-awareness, the ability to recognize what you're thinking and how those thoughts influence your behavior. Fascinated. It requires mental discipline, the courage to stay focused on your goals despite distractions and discouragements. And it requires emotional strength, the power to stay calm in chaos and optimistic in uncertainty. Fascinated, mastering your mind also means embracing discomfort. Growth doesn't happen in ease, it happens in struggle. The mind naturally seeks safety, but the soul seeks expansion. When you push past fear, fascinated, you train your brain to see challenge as opportunity rather than threat. The more you expose yourself to discomfort, the stronger your mental muscles become. Just like physical training builds endurance, fascinated, mental training builds with resilience, and with resilience comes confidence, the quiet belief that no matter what happens, you have the power to adapt, to endure, and to rise again. Fascinated. The battle within is not something you win once and for all. It's something you fight every day. Each morning, you have to choose courage over fear, hope over despair, and persistence over surrender. Some days, fascinated, but that choice will feel impossible, but those are the days that matter most. Because victory in the mind is not about never having doubts. It's about refusing to let those doubts define you. Fascinated. It's about recognizing that strength isn't found in never breaking down, but in standing up every time you do. Ultimately, the greatest warriors are not the ones who conquer others, but the ones who conquer themselves. I'm fascinated. When you control your thoughts, you control your emotion. When you control your emotions, you control your actions. And when you control your actions, you control your future. The battle begins within. And when you win it, I'm fascinated. Nothing outside of you can truly defeat you. The way you think determines the way you live, and your thoughts have the incredible power to shape your entire reality. every experience you have, every decision you make. Fascinated. And every outcome you face are influenced by the thoughts that dominate your mind. When people say that life is a reflection of mindset, they mean that what you believe internally manifests externally. Fascinated. Thoughts are not just fleeting ideas, they are seeds. When you nurture positive thoughts, they grow into confidence, progress, and success. When you feed negative thoughts, they grow into fear, hesitation, and failure. I'm fascinated. The quality of your thoughts defines the quality of your life, and that is why mastering your thinking is the foundation of mastering your future. It's easy to underestimate the power of a single thought. I'm fascinated, yet history and personal experience prove that the way you think creates the world you see. A person who constantly thinks they are unlucky or incapable will begin to notice more obstacles, interpret neutral situations as failures, fascinated, and find confirmation for their doubts everywhere they go. On the other hand, someone with a mindset of possibility will see opportunity in difficulty, solutions in problems, and lessons in failure. I'm fascinated. The same situation can either break you or build you. It all depends on how you choose to perceive it. Your mindset becomes the lens through which you see life. And once that lens is clouded by negativity, fascinated, it's impossible to see clearly. But when that lens is clean, filled with belief and hope, even the darkest paths begin to show light. The human mind has an extraordinary tendency to amplify whatever it focuses on. Fascinated. If you think about your problems all the time, they grow bigger. If you think about your goals, they become more attainable. This is not magic, it's mental programming. Fascinated. The subconscious mind listens carefully to your dominant thoughts and works silently to make them reality. That's why athletes visualize victory, entrepreneurs imagine success, and leaders picture change long before it happens. Fascinated. They understand that the mind creates a blueprint that the body and behavior follow. When you think success, you prepare for success. When you think failure, you unconsciously act in ways that bring it about. To shape your reality, fascinated, you must first shape your inner world. Start by observing the kind of thoughts you entertain each day. Are they lifting you or limiting you? Every time you say, I can't, your mind shuts a door. Fascinated, every time you say, I can learn, a new path opens. Words and thoughts carry energy. They either drain your strength or fuel your growth. Training your mind to focus on positive, empowering thoughts doesn't mean ignoring reality. Fascinated. It means approaching it with confidence and creativity instead of fear. Challenges will come, but how you think about them will determine whether they defeat you or develop you. Fascinated, another essential truth is that your reality is not just shaped by what happens, but by how you interpret what happens. Two people can experience the same failure. One sees it as proof of incompetence, fascinated, the other as feedback for improvement. The difference lies entirely in their mindset. You can't always control external events, but you have absolute control over your internal response. This control is your greatest advantage. Fascinated, when you train your mind to interpret obstacles as opportunities, setbacks as redirection, and criticism as guidance, you stop being a victim of life and become the author of it. Fascinated, your mindset also influences the kind of energy you attract. People are drawn to positivity, confidence, and vision. When you radiate belief and determination, the right people and circumstances begin to align with your path. Fascinated, but when your thoughts are filled with doubt and fear, you unconsciously push opportunities away. Energy flows where attention goes. What you think about consistently becomes the foundation of your destiny. Fascinated. That's why successful people guard their thoughts carefully. They know that what they allow in their minds eventually shapes what happens in their lives. To change your reality, fascinated, you don't need to change the entire world around you. You only need to change the world within you. When you start thinking differently, your emotions shift, your actions evolve, and your outcomes follow. Fascinated, your outer world is simply a mirror of your inner world. If you want to see peace, think peace. If you want to seek progress, think progress. The transformation begins with one simple but powerful realization: thoughts shape reality. I'm fascinated. The moment you take control of your thinking, you take control of your life. Defeat is not a permanent condition, it is a state of mind. Many people believe that failure marks the end of their journey, but in truth, fascinated only becomes the end when you decide to stop trying. The difference between those who rise and those who remain defeated lies not in their circumstances, but in their mindset. When failure strikes, I'm fascinated is your response that determines what happens next. If you see defeat as a teacher, it becomes your greatest ally. If you see it as a verdict, it becomes your cage. The most successful individuals in history have one thing in common. I'm fascinated. They refused to let defeat define them. They understood that every setback is temporary, every fall is a lesson, and every ending is a disguised beginning. The mindset of defeat often begins quietly. It starts with disappointment, fascinated, grows into self-doubt, and eventually convinces you that trying again is pointless. This is the most dangerous place to be, not because of failure itself, but because you have surrendered mentally. Physical challenges can be overcome, fascinated, but a defeated mind paralyzes your potential. The truth is that everyone faces moments of loss, rejection, and pain. The difference between a victor and a victim is not the absence of defeat, but the refusal to accept it as final. Fascinated. Every failure can either weaken your resolve or strengthen your wisdom. It all depends on how you interpret it. When you adopt the mindset that defeat is only temporary, you begin to see failure differently. Instead of asking, fascinated, why did this happen to me? You ask, what can I learn from this? That simple shift turns pain into power. Every mistake becomes feedback, every rejection becomes redirection, fascinated, and every setback becomes preparation for something greater. Life is not meant to be a smooth road. It's a path of lessons that test your strength and reveal your purpose. I'm fascinated. Those who rise again and again after falling develop the resilience that no success story can exist without. History is filled with examples of people who turned defeat into triumph. I'm fascinated. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb, yet when asked about his failures, he said he hadn't failed, he had simply found many ways that didn't work. Michael Jordan, fascinated, often called the greatest basketball player of all time, missed thousands of shots and lost hundreds of games, but he credits those failures for making him the player he became. Their stories remind us that defeat is never a dead end. Fascinated, it is a detour on the road to greatness. The moment you stop fearing failure, you begin to unleash your full potential. Accepting defeat mentally creates limitations that don't truly exist. When your mind says, fascinated, I can't, your body obeys. But when your mind says, I will find a way, your creativity, courage, and perseverance awaken. You start to see options where others see obstacles. I'm fascinated. The battlefield of life rewards those who fight one more round, who rise one more time, who believe in the possibility of victory, even when they stand in the shadow of loss. Fascinated. That belief is not naive optimism. It is the foundation of all progress. Defeat is a mindset because success is built on persistence. No great achievement was ever accomplished without struggle. Fascinated. The road to victory is paved with setbacks, doubts, and failures, but those who keep moving forward eventually find their breakthrough. It's not about being perfect or never falling. Fascinated. It's about having the inner strength to rise again, to keep learning and to keep believing. Each time you overcome defeat, you strengthen your mental armor. Each victory over self, doubt adds another layer of confidence and wisdom. Fascinatingly, defeat only wins when you stop growing. It cannot destroy you unless you give it permission to. Your failures do not define who you are. Your response to them does. If you treat defeat as a teacher, fascinated, it will shape you into a warrior. If you treat it as a final judgment, it will imprison you in fear. The power to choose lies entirely within you. Every time you fall and decide to rise again, fascinated, you prove that defeat is not a condition, but a mindset. And your mind is far stronger than any obstacle you face. Discipline is the bridge between your goals and your success. Fascinated, it is the quiet force that moves you forward when motivation fades and circumstances become difficult. Every person has moments of doubt, fear, and fatigue, but discipline is what allows you to act in spite of those emotions. I'm fascinated. The mind is a battlefield filled with conflicting thoughts. One voice tells you to give up while another urges you to keep going. The difference between winners and quitters is not that winners never hear the voice of doubt. Fascinated, it's that they have trained their discipline to speak louder. Doubt is natural, but discipline is a choice, and that choice defines the outcome of every battle you face in life. When you rely on motivation alone, fascinated, you become a prisoner of your emotions. Motivation is powerful, but temporary. It rises and falls with circumstances. Some days you feel unstoppable, and other days you feel lost and uninspired. Fascinated. But discipline doesn't depend on how you feel. It depends on what you've decided. Discipline says, I will do what must be done, even when I don't feel like it. It is an inner promise you make to yourself and refuse to break. Fascinated, those who achieve greatness are not always the most talented, but they are the most disciplined. They show up consistently, even on the days when everything inside them says, fascinated. Stay down. Doubt will always find its way into your mind. It will whisper that you're not capable, not ready, or not good enough. The undisciplined mind listens and surrenders, but the disciplined mind keeps going. Fascinated. Discipline doesn't erase fear. It teaches you to move through it. Every act of self-control weakens the power of doubt. Every time you choose effort over excuse, you strengthen your mental resilience. Over time, fascinated, this consistent commitment transforms your habits, and your habits shape your destiny. The disciplined mind doesn't need constant reassurance because it understands that progress comes through persistence, not perfection. Fascinated, discipline also builds trust within yourself. When you say you will do something and actually follow through, you prove to your mind that your word means something. This internal trust becomes an unshakable foundation. Fascinated. People who lack discipline often feel uncertain and powerless because they have broken so many promises to themselves. But when you stay consistent, whether it's in your goals, your habits, fascinated, or your mindset, you build an inner reputation that can not be shaken by external circumstances. That is the essence of self-confidence, knowing that you can depend on yourself even when life gets hard. Fascinated, the beauty of discipline is that it transforms effort into excellence. Every small act of discipline compounds over time. The hours of practice no one sees, the sacrifices no one praises. Fascinated, the persistence no one celebrates, all of it becomes the quiet foundation for extraordinary success. It's easy to admire the results of disciplined people, but few understand the loneliness and persistence behind their success. Fascinated, discipline is not glamorous. It requires saying no when everyone else says yes, working when others rest, and believing when others doubt. But the reward is a life of strength, clarity, and purpose. Fascinated, doubt may knock on your door every day, but discipline teaches you not to answer. Instead, you keep moving forward with faith in your actions. You may not always see immediate results, but consistency guarantees progress. Over time, fascinated, discipline silences doubt because the evidence of your effort becomes undeniable. You begin to see that your mind can overcome anything when it is trained to obey your goals instead of your emotions. In every great achievement, fascinated, there comes a moment when the easy choice is to quit, to surrender to fear, fatigue, or frustration. But discipline makes you choose differently. It reminds you of why you started, pushes you beyond your limits. Fascinated, and turns your struggle into strength. It is the voice that says, keep going, when everything else says, stop. And every time you obey that voice, you win a small but significant victory in the battlefield of your mind. I'm fascinated, discipline over doubt, that is the secret weapon of all true champions. Your environment is one of the most powerful influences on your mindset. The people you surround yourself with, the habits you cultivate, fascinated, and the atmosphere you live in either build your mental strength or break it down. Just as a plant cannot grow in toxic soil, your mindset cannot thrive in a negative environment. The world around you constantly feeds your thoughts, fascinated emotions and beliefs, whether you realize it or not. Every conversation, every piece of information you consume, and every person you spend time with either fuels your growth or drains your energy. Fascinated. That is why protecting and shaping your environment is essential if you want to maintain a strong, positive, and focused mind. Many people underestimate how deeply their surroundings affect them. You might have big dreams, clear goals, fascinated, and strong discipline, but if you live in an environment filled with negativity, doubt, or fear, it becomes much harder to sustain your progress. The mind absorbs what it is exposed to. When you are constantly around people who complain, fascinated, criticize, or discourage ambition, their energy seeps into your thoughts. You begin to doubt yourself, not because you've changed, but because your environment has. On the other hand, when you surround yourself with positive thinkers, fascinated dreamers and doers, your mindset expands. You start believing in possibilities you once ignored, and that belief fuels your courage to act. Creating a strong environment means choosing your influences wisely. Fascinated, not everyone deserves access to your mind. Protect your peace by limiting the voices that drain your motivation and amplifying those that inspire you. Read books that challenge your thinking. Listen to people who push you to be better. Fascinated, spend time with individuals who celebrate growth, not gossip. The energy you allow into your space directly shapes the energy you carry within. Every great leader, athlete, or innovator builds a circle that reinforces their mindset. Fascinated, they understand that success isn't a solo act. It's a result of shared strength and positive influence. Your physical environment also affects your mental clarity. A cluttered space often reflects a cluttered mind. I'm fascinated. Organizing your surroundings creates a sense of order and focus that supports clear thinking. Similarly, dedicating spaces for learning, creating, or reflecting signals to your brain that it's time to perform. Fascinated. Small changes like maintaining cleanliness, adding inspiring visuals, or removing distractions can drastically shift your mental state. The brain responds to structure when your environment supports your goals. Fascinated. Your mind naturally aligns with your vision. Habits form another crucial part of your environment. The routines you build determine the mindset you develop. Habits of gratitude, reflection, fascinated, and consistency nourish your mind with stability and confidence. Conversely, habits of procrastination, negativity, or comparison slowly weaken your mental strength. Your habits create your daily environment. Fascinated, and your daily environment shapes your future. Every small positive habit acts as a building block that reinforces the mindset of success. The digital world has also become a major part of our mental environment. What you consume online influences your emotions more than you realize. Constant exposure to negativity, fear-driven news, or comparison on social media can erode your peace and confidence. Be intentional about your digital diet. Fascinated, follow content that inspires, educates, and uplifts you. Replace endless scrolling with meaningful learning. Protecting your mind in the digital era means being selective about what you allow to enter it. Sometimes, fascinated, changing your environment means letting go of people or places that no longer serve your growth. This is not an act of arrogance. It's an act of self-respect. You cannot evolve in a space that constantly reminds you of your limits. I'm fascinated. Growth requires distance from negativity and proximity to purpose. Seek out spaces that challenge you to rise higher, that remind you of your goals, and that reflect the kind of person you are becoming. Ultimately, fascinated, your environment is not just where you live, it's what you live within. It's the atmosphere that surrounds your dreams and feeds your decisions. If you want to build a strong, resilient, and empowered mindset, fascinated, build an environment that nurtures it. Surround yourself with people who speak life into your vision, cultivate habits that align with your goals, and create a space that mirrors the greatness you are striving for. Because in the end, fascinated, a powerful environment creates a powerful mind, and a powerful mind can conquer any battlefield life presents. Victory in life is not something that happens by chance. It is the result of daily choices. Every day, fascinated, from the moment you wake up, you make decisions that either move you closer to victory or drag you toward defeat. Your mindset, attitude, and actions are shaped by what you choose to focus on. A positive, fascinated, determined mindset doesn't appear automatically. It is built through consistent decisions. You don't wake up confident, strong, or motivated every morning, but you can choose to act as if you are. I'm fascinated. This daily decision to push forward, no matter how you feel, is what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Victory is not a single moment of triumph. It is a continuous process of choosing growth, courage, fascinated, and faith over fear and doubt. Each day presents its own challenges. Some mornings you feel unstoppable, ready to take on the world. Other days, you wake up tired, uncertain, or unmotivated, fascinated. It's in those moments that your mindset is truly tested. The world's most successful people are not those who never struggle. They are those who refuse to let their struggles dictate their direction. Fascinated, they understand that progress is built one choice at a time. When you decide to keep going despite the obstacles, you strengthen your mental endurance. That decision made repeatedly becomes a habit, and habits shape destiny. Fascinated, choosing victory daily means understanding that every action matters, even the small ones. Waking up early to work toward your goals, staying disciplined when it's easier to relax. Fascinated, speaking kindly to yourself when your mind fills with doubt. These are the choices that compound over time. Each decision may seem insignificant in the moment, but together they build a powerful foundation of resilience. Fascinated, just as consistent drops of water can shape stone, Consistent acts of willpower shape character. Success is rarely the result of one grand decision. It is the accumulation of countless small ones made in the direction of your purpose. Fascinated, there will be days when it feels easier to quit when the path ahead seems too difficult or too uncertain. But it's precisely in those moments that victory begins. Every time you choose persistence over surrender, fascinated, you are teaching your mind that it is stronger than your circumstances. Every time you push forward through exhaustion or disappointment, you are reminding yourself that growth only happens through effort. Fascinated. The greatest victories are not those that happen in public, but those silent moments when you choose not to give up in private. That quiet strength, the will to continue when no one is watching, defines true winners. Fascinated. Victory is also a mindset of gratitude. When you focus on what's going right instead of what's going wrong, you shift your perspective from scarcity to abundance. Gratitude fuels positivity, and positivity fuels perseverance. Fascinated. When you begin each day by acknowledging your blessings, you prepare your mind to face challenges with optimism. This doesn't mean ignoring difficulties. It means facing them with the belief that you are equipped to handle them. Fascinated, gratitude keeps your heart grounded and your vision clear, reminding you that progress, not perfection, is the true measure of success. To make victory a daily choice, you must also be intentional about your focus. Fascinated. The mind tends to dwell on what's missing, what's broken, or what's uncertain, but your focus determines your direction. When you fix your attention on your goals, your energy naturally flows toward achieving them. I'm fascinated. You begin to act in alignment with your vision. The key is consistency, not perfection, but persistence. Even on days when you move only a little, you are still moving forward. Fascinated. Small progress made daily is better than bursts of effort followed by inaction. Choosing victory daily also means forgiving yourself when you fall short. There will be times when you make mistakes, lose motivation, or feel overwhelmed. Fascinated, the important thing is not to let those moments define you. A single bad day doesn't erase weeks of progress. What matters is that you rise again, stronger and wiser. Fascinated, every sunrise is a reminder that you have another chance to choose differently, to choose better, to choose victory once more. In the end, victory is not a destination, it's a discipline. Fascinated, it's a conscious decision you make every day to believe instead of doubt, to act instead of hesitate, and to persist instead of quit. When you treat every day as a new opportunity to win in your mind and in your actions, fascinated, life begins to unfold in extraordinary ways. True victory belongs to those who choose it day after day until it becomes a way of life. Your mindset truly is the real battlefield, and every victory or defeat in life begins there. Fascinated. The thoughts you nurture become the reality you live. When you learn to master your inner world, your fears, doubts, and beliefs, you gain control over everything else. Success, happiness, fascinated, and peace are not found in external achievements, but in the strength of your mind. A powerful mindset turns obstacles into opportunities, pain into purpose, and failure into growth. Each day, you have the choice to fight with faith, fascinated, discipline, and positivity rather than surrender to negativity and fear. The greatest battles are not fought with weapons or words, but with resilience, self-belief, and courage. Once you conquer your mind, I'm fascinated, no challenge in life can truly defeat you. Victory begins and ends in the mind.